We're back at the Ontario Certified Crop Advisor annual meeting and joined by Susan Fitzgerald, the Executive Director. And Susan, a great meeting here today. You had 286 registrants. That's a pretty impressive room. What does that tell you? What does it say about, I guess, the state of CCAs in Ontario?
Right. Well, I'm really pleased to see that many CCAs come out. This is the 13th annual CCA conference, an annual meeting that we've held, and this is the highest registration that we've ever had. And I think what that speaks to is, well, for one thing, we have more CCAs in Ontario than we have in the past. We have 545 currently active CCAs, so we have more people in the industry. And I think as well, the value they see in coming to this conference. We try to have speakers that they're not going to hear elsewhere on this winter speaking circuit in Ontario. So we try and look for speakers that they wouldn't hear elsewhere. So they're getting information that's maybe cutting edge or from other parts of North America. As well, I think they value getting together with their peers. So coming to this event, when it's virtually all CCAs, they get that networking. They set aside maybe the competition, etc. They're all CCAs, and it makes them feel that they're part of a greater whole, like the association, right? So I think they value that as well.
Now you've got 119 people doing the exam this winter. I think that's the highest number of...
It's the highest in recent years. We had sort of plateaued out around 50 people writing the exams every year, and we thought that's where we would be. We thought about 500 CCAs in the province, which is where we would plateau out. And then a couple years ago, we blipped up to 90. We thought, well, that's interesting. Will that happen? What'll happen next year? And then it was 93, and now this year 119. And I think that speaks to a couple of different things that we're seeing. One is that some of the older CCAs are retiring. Now they're retiring, but they're not giving up their designation. So they're still keeping their CCA designation, but perhaps they're doing private consulting or part-time consulting, and their previous roles, job positions, are being filled by some younger folks coming along. As well, I think there's greater demand for the services of CCAs at the retail level. So we're seeing growers who are looking more to CCAs or agronomists to support them with advice. We're getting large farmers. They're looking for that one-stop shop for their information and their expertise. So there's greater demand coming for those two different things. Some of that might be government regulation or legislation, but again, it's just there's so much information out there, isn't there? And so rather than individually going and finding it, you're almost looking at that CCA to be the consolidator for your pest information, your nutrient information, all that information you need on your farm for production.
Fred Strauss was here today, an agronomist from California, and he looked over the room and he said, look at all those young people, look at all those women. A very different demographic that he sees in California and in other designations or other areas as well.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting that Fred said that they don't see as many female CCAs in California. And that's something we've seen come along. The number is growing. Certainly the majority still are men, but we're seeing many females and young females. So when I look at the group writing the exam, and that'll be coming up the first week in February, I would expect to see at least half, if not more than half, being female. So we're seeing that.
So you talked earlier about the need for CCAs, the demand for expertise, especially with what we're seeing from a government regulation perspective these days on neonicotinoid seed treatments and phosphorus coming down the pipe. With that being said, you have a new program, a 4R nutrient program for CCAs that's going to be based on that.
That's right. So CCA is sort of the basic designation that we have, and in the U.S. they piloted a specialty designation, the 4R nutrient management planning specialty last year, and Ontario is going to be the first jurisdiction in Canada to offer that in August of this year. And it's, as I say, will be the 4R specialty. And what that does is recognizes CCAs who perhaps focus more of their time or a lot of their time on that 4R philosophy. So the right source, rate, time, and place, and that whole stewardship piece, recognizing that. There's other specialties coming along. The next one that we will probably see will be the sustainability specialty. That won't be in the next year for sure. We want to roll out the 4R one, but that will be one that you will see coming as well.
Last final point on the 4R designation. How do people, obviously with this organization, writing the test in August, and when would those people be ready to go work and sort of show their designation?
If they write and pass in August of 2016, I would expect that the people who have passed would find out about that result probably about January.
Right.
So that'd be January of 2017.
Hey, exciting times. Thanks for the invitation. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for being here.